everyone, welcome to the Crossroads update. So glad you came and joined us today. Got a few things before we get started. First of all, we have a problem. Yeah, that's right. Crossroad update just doesn't have a ring to it. We need a new name. If you think of one, drop it down in the comment section. We would love to hear what you have to say and just interact if we can't find a better name for this segment. Also, if you find this is a great time to interact and you're encouraged by it, why don't you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon? That will help you always be aware of when we're having our videos, so you'll never miss one. But hey, let's dig into what we have today. Today we are in Acts 1:8. Now Acts 1:8 is the last time Jesus talked to his disciples before he ascended. Now when we ascend, we mean that he rose, he flew essentially up into heaven. That sounds really weird, but that's not what we're focusing on today. Today we're looking at what Jesus saw was the most important thing to share with his disciples, share with his followers before he left. So let's dig right into it, shall we? In Acts 1:8 it goes, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem and in all of Judea and in Samaria and to the ends of the earth." This is incredible. Again, these are the last words Jesus spoke to his disciples before he left. And what do we see here? Well, we see a promise and we see a plan. Now, what is the promise that Jesus is giving here? Well, first of all, Jesus says you will receive power. He's not leaving his followers, he's not leaving his disciples, he's not leaving us without power. Now, that sounds really good. However, what power are we talking about here? The power that he's sharing here is that we will have God with us always. You see, God rose Jesus from the dead. Jesus is God. The Holy Spirit is what was promised. He's here with us today. And God does not leave us. He does not forsake us. He is with us always. And so the promise that God gives us is that we will have power through God himself here with us today. And that is an amazing promise. He also has a plan, and it's a plan that involves you. This plan is a plan that has incredible privilege and responsibility. You know, I'm teaching my kids right now that first we have trust, and with trust comes responsibility, and responsibility comes privilege, and with privilege comes fun. Well, I'll tell you what, right now we have privilege and responsibility already in the mix here. Well, what is the privilege? The privilege is being able to be part of God's plan. He doesn't need us. He doesn't need you. He doesn't need me. He doesn't need any of us. And yet we are privileged to be part of God's plan. But then there's a responsibility factor as well. Because we have the privilege, we have the responsibility of carrying that plan out. And here's the catch. God's plan requires us to share. It requires us to talk. Now, we can't be quiet in this responsibility. We are supposed to be his witnesses. Now, what's a witness? A witness is someone who shares with what they've seen, what they've heard, what they've experienced. So that's what Jesus wants us to do as well. We are to be his witnesses. Now, who can you tell about Jesus? Well, when we say tell about Jesus, we're not saying give him a tract or give him a piece of paper or a letter. We're not saying that we hard sell Jesus. We're not saying that we are trying to make sure that we convince them to follow Jesus. All we're doing is sharing what we have seen Jesus. What have we read about Jesus? What have we experienced about Jesus? We just bring him up. Now this can be really scary. Sometimes we feel like we're going out on a social limb, or we're not sure if we'll be accepted by someone else. But you know what? That brings us back to what we saw earlier. Remember, you are not alone. God is always with you. So this week, let's bring God up. Who can you bring God up with? Maybe it's someone that you see at a restaurant. Maybe it's someone you see at the grocery store. Maybe you're inside and you don't feel you can get out. Well, who online can you bring God up? Are there people coming to your house that you can interact with what you've seen God do? Let's bring God up with this incredible privilege and responsibility. Well, I hope this time of Crossroads Update has been encouraging for you. Again, if you think of a name, drop it in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe if this has been encouraging for you. But also, if this has been helpful for you and you would like others to see it, share it. Let's get this out there that we can continue to encourage, that we can continue to equip God's people for doing God's things. Have a great week. We'll see you later.